What's up? I've just finished TAFE and now we're going to go over YouTube because I believe I've got some people tagging me and mentioning me and stuff. I already replied to that one. But I was in class, so I couldn't attend these. Let's have a look. I better go to number 1 since that's a number 2. You know, I haven't looked into this. Interesting.
I left a comment on your video Mithium because there isn't, and they deleted the comment, so that's how I kind of know this is probably important. This guy was doing a lot of research into how to remove the implant in your brain. You know, that's just the one that...
In my opinion, schizophrenia is not just technologically induced from V2K and stuff. You've actually got higher and lower self battling once you go through enlightenment. You know what I mean? You still have the avatar hylic body and its mind, but you know, your higher light body, id, Stewart mind, will battle with that. You know, it's just basic psychology. Even Freud, you know, come up with ego, superego, and id. So it's not just technologically induced.
Causes the voice to skull and allows the kind of procedural generation of the matrix when you're walking around. And this guy did a lot of research, and he concluded that the microchip in the brain is it's a silicon chip, and it's a nanotechnology, right? And the only way to get rid of it would be with like electrical pulses. Like if you could beam.
Oh, that lady I did the $600 bandit on, Linda, and I stayed at the house in 2013. You can see in the food plant teaching playlist. She said she got this like electroshock to your temples, or what? Is that what we're talking about here?
Your head with electrical pulses. It can actually.
Yep, it sounds like it. I don't know about this. What are you saying? It costs 10 grand, 10,000 euros, and it's covered by Medicare in Australia. So it's free. Yeah, that would have been what Linda got.
Deactivate the chip. So this was the conclusion that he came to, and there was another researcher who came to the same conclusion also. But he was looking at the films, and he looked at about 100 Hollywood films, and he saw that the common theme of the film for TIs, because sometimes they put TIs in the films and they create narratives around TIs. The common theme was using electrical pulses to get rid of the so-called implants. And basically, the conclusion that they came to was transcranial magnetic stimulation would be the way to...
How the fuck would that get rid of the implant? It would just like short it and turn it off. It would make it dysfunctional, but it wouldn't get rid of it.
Get rid of the implant. And this is kind of a non-invasive surgery that has electrical impulses that hit you.
Wait, we got a noise campaign. Hear that? Fucking loud motorbike come past.
Head. Well, let's read it here. So, this is called Neurowave, Center for Neuromodulation. At our brain stimulation practice in Amsterdam, we offer an innovative, evidence-based, and highly effective form of therapy.
All right, hold on. I'm walking under an underpass. It's just crazy loud. I should probably go back.
Films, and they create narratives around TIs. The common theme was using electrical pulses to get rid of the so-called implants. And basically, the conclusion that they came to was transcranial magnetic stimulation would be the way to get rid of the implant. And this is kind of a non-invasive surgery that has electrical impulses that hit your head. Well, let's read it here. So, this is called Neurowave, Center for Neuromodulation. At our brain stimulation practice in Amsterdam, we offer an innovative, evidence-based, and highly effective form of therapy, transcranial magnetic stimulation for patients with depression or obsessive compulsive disorder. RTMS stands for repetitive transcranial magnetic stimulation. Generally, psychotherapy and or medication are used to treat depression or OCD. However, for some patients, the general treatment is insufficient or has no positive results. Some patients have a preference not to use medication. For these patients, treatment with RTMS can be a good alternative. RTMS is reimbursed by all health insurers in the Netherlands. So generally,
before you move on there, I would suggest that possibly when it doesn't work, I mean, I'm guessing this is pure speculation, it could be because that's a light body person and we have to heal ourselves. We can't rely on their methods. We're different.
Just can't afford this type of treatment. It's very expensive. Here in my country, it's like 15,000 euro, you know, like even more for the for extended treatment. But in the Netherlands, it's free. So I think like it's probably a good idea to try this out, you know. You don't have to spin it like you got voices in your head. You can just spin it that you got depression from whatever, like your job's really stressful.
In no way, shape or form would I undergo this fucked up treatment. You're tripping. What you do is you ground. You put your bare feet on the electrical earth. I don't know how many times I have to tell you people this. Everybody out there is like, I've said this a million times. Why don't you try it? Why don't you figure it out? Because that's electrical, that's ionic. Right? It's very base electrical. We're talking about negative ionization. And I'm guaranteeing you, when you have obsessive thoughts, it's positive charge laden. It's not from the atmosphere, it's because you're not grounding. And it's caught on the middle ganglion, the middle nervous system. You've got looping thoughts. That's what OCD is, obsessive and compulsive. You need to let them go. So you touch the earth and they go, because then you're electrically connected to everything. So I 100% disagree if you're telling people to do this. This is putting you into more pain. No wonder it doesn't work. This is putting you into more pain and more positive charge. This is not the calming. This should be revving it up. But this is a shock treatment. So what this does is it might clear it via just being so intense that it's like a rewriting. You know what I mean? That's not recommended. This is like radiation therapy instead for cancer, instead of trying all the other methods to get rid of your cancer. You know what I mean? This is extreme last case Heilig healing. It's like putting someone in prison so that they can meditate for 20 years on the murder. Technically, that person could have just sat back in their house and realized how stupid their murder was and, you know, rehabilitated faster. They didn't need to get gang raped in the prison. You know what I mean? It's just another organic portal fucking shit healing method because they don't know what they're doing. So if you're pushing this, I disagree.
Well, you've tried medication and now you want to try an alternative because the medication is giving you side effects or whatever, you know, like just spin it however you want to spin it. Don't spin it as schizophrenia or voice to skull or any of that stuff. Just, you know, be smart about it. And try and get this treatment. It's free.
Fuck that.
But yeah. Illuminati Renegade here. So let's look at the Australian version. It's covered by Medicare. And I actually have a Medicare account as well. Maybe I'll go back to Australia because I'm not paying for this here. In my country, it's not covered by private insurance or the government. But, you know, thankfully in Australia, you can get transcranial magnetic stimulation.
Thankfully.
Fully funded by Medicare, so you don't have to pay. You get 15 free treatments. Apparently, it only takes a couple of treatments to get rid of the implant from people who had like voices in the head and Tenitus. You know, and 2 or 3 treatments, it's done, it's gone. So to be eligible, you just got to be 18.
I've actually got tinnitus now, and there's I've been starting to research into it. I've been to the hearing place and stuff, the auditorium or whatever the fuck it is, and I'm trying to figure out, is it fluid behind the ear because I'm surfing so much, plus an upper respiratory tract infection from smoking so much cannabis, and connecting that to my tooth problem, which is finally, after 15 years, I've almost completely healed it. So what I found is that tinnitus is fairly complex. Like, it could be a number of different things. Even the auditory lady, she was saying that It could be from fluid, or it could be from, say, you've had hearing loss, but it can also cause hearing loss, so it gets complex. It can be from hearing loss, and your ear is trying to compensate the higher pitched sounds. So I mean, there's a lot to this tinnitus thing. I don't think it's just V2K induced, because I would have had it a long time ago. I've only picked up my tinnitus from, I think it's fluid in the ear, but I'm still trying to discover all this. I'm actually going through this right now. And again, this is a shock treatment. What are you telling people to do? I mean, I get what you're doing. You think, oh yeah, these people say it helps and it gets rid of it. So yeah, you know, do it. And it's an official documentation and societal healing method. Apparently it works. But you just said before, sometimes it doesn't. And you have not given statistical analysis of how much it does work and how much it doesn't. So I'm still going with my opinion here that this is the stupid idea to shock yourself, basically.
Years of age, be diagnosed with a major depressive episode, have failed to receive satisfactory improvement despite adequately trying at least 2 different classes of antidepressants.
So also what's happening in depression is literally you're going down. I have said depression has a link with novelty, affinity with novelty, but that's nothing to do with this. This would be just depression, literally, pardon me, depression, literally depressing you down vibrationally, and then you can get tinnitus from that. You see what I'm saying? Because it would pull in the compensation. If your vibe's dropping so low that it's like a pneumatic pressure, do you understand? And then you can get tinnitus that way. And then this method then could shock you back up to the surface and work. But again, this is such an extreme, like, ridiculous healing method. It's clearly all kind of portal stuff. I would never, like, tell anybody to go do this, really. This is last case, not just, oh yeah, maybe do this. It's absolute last case stuff, this. Because instead, to bring yourself back to the surface, you might get a friend, a good friend or something. You might take a psychedelic and that could do it. You would definitely go out and ground. You might just work on your joy to get back up. So this is like really not something you should be telling people to just go do.
Medications. So, you know, there are some prerequisites. Have also undertaken psychological therapy.
It's like, yeah, radiation therapy, chemo and stuff helps cancer. But would I ever go through that? Man, I'd have to be feeling like death itself. You know what I mean? Because that is just a ridiculous way to heal. Same with this.
Is inappropriate. Have not received TMS treatment previously in either a public or private setting.
I'm done.
So usually like this.
Alright guys, I'm about to get on the bus, luckily, because I think that's the last interaction with you guys. Right. Oh, I've got one more. Already been there. Yeah, what you're all describing there is definitely my type of synchronicities too. It's like your mind is read by this place, and I have said this gang stalking shit even comes through your own mind. But which mind? At the beginning of the video I mentioned, you know, different levels of minds. A mind is just a third dimensional system. Do you understand? So that's why I said the hylic body mind, or it could be your higher mind, the Antakarana. You know what I mean? Right, I'm out. Enjoy. Hope I taught you guys something. Donate. Because otherwise you would have not been taught and been lost.